Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Syed Faizanul Haque and welcome to Lekhapora Online's YouTube channel. In today's video, we will learn about Ielts and understand the test format of Ielts. So, the very first thing that pops up in our head is what is Ielts? Ielts is the International English Language Testing System which is designed to help you work, study or migrate to a country where English is the native language. This includes countries such as Australia, New Zealand, UK, USA, Canada and some other European countries. This test basically evaluates your English based on two skills, and that are receptive skills and productive skills. The receptive skills are listening and reading, and the productive skills are writing and speaking. Therefore, your ability to listen, read, write and speak in English will be assessed during the test. Now, Ielts is the world's most popular and most accepted English language proficiency test for higher education or global migration. However, many people are not sure about why they should take Ielts. So, the next question is, why take the Ielts? Okay, so many of you can ask that what can be the purpose of Ielts? We all know that English is the third most spoken language globally with 379 million speakers worldwide. So, if you are looking to work, study or migrate in an English-speaking country, you must demonstrate a high level of English language ability. Because communicating in the native language of the country you wish to work, study in has a wide range of benefits. It is also very crucial and very essential for your job opportunities as well as the integration with the community. So, this is the purpose of Ielts. It basically evaluates your proficiency of English language. Okay, so now let's learn about the format of this test. But before knowing the format, let me inform you one thing. We will make a series on Ielts preparation to help those who are looking forward to preparing for this test in our YouTube channel. And it is going to be released on YouTube, so you don't have to pay us any money for access of the series. You just need to subscribe to our channel and follow us in our social media accounts. You will find the links in this video's description. Okay, so now let's start about the format. So basically there are two categories of Ielts, general and academic. Let me write here. General test. Another one is the academic test. Okay, so many of us become so confused about which test we should sit for. So remember one thing, the general test needs to be taken by the people who are moving to an English-speaking country for the purpose of PR or jobs, whereas the academic test needs to be taken by people who are moving to an English-speaking country for higher education or any other education related purposes. But please make sure you check which test you are supposed to sit before you register for the test. Okay, so now let's understand the format of Ielts. Okay, as I have already mentioned earlier that the test evaluates your English based on two skills, and that are receptive and productive skills. So let me show you which are the receptive and which are the productive skills. Okay. So by these two, listening and reading, your receptive skills would be assessed, and by the rest of the two, writing and speaking, your productive skills would be evaluated. So ultimately, you will be assessed based on these 4 elements or these 4 modules. Okay, so now, what are the mechanisms of these modules? Listening, reading, writing and speaking. Firstly, let me talk about listening. Okay, in this test or in this listening part, you will listen to 4 recordings of native English speakers, and then you have to write your answers to a series of questions. Here, you will get 4 parts, or you will see 4 sections which contains 40 questions, and you will be given 30 minutes to answer. Okay, here you will get 30 minutes to have your answer while you are listening to the recording and answering. So, please make sure one thing, you write your answers into your question booklet initially, because it is the simultaneous process of listening and writing. You need to answer these 40 questions while you are listening to an audio recording. At the end of the test, you will get extra 10 minutes. Extra 10 minutes to write down or transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet provided to you. So, make sure you write your answers while you are listening to the audio. Okay, now let's move on to the reading section. Reading module is little bit different for the both tests, academic and general test, unlike listening and speaking, because listening and speaking these 2 modules are the same for the both of the tests. Okay, reading has 3 parts or 3 sections, and you will get 40 questions in the both of the tests, and you will be given 60 minutes to answer the. Okay, now in the general test, you will have 1 or 2 texts, 1 or 2 texts in each of the sections or each of the parts, and each of the parts and the general, so it consists of 40 questions. On the other hand, in the academic test, there will be 1 long passage in each of the sections. Let me write here. Academic test, 1 long passage in each of the sections. Based on the passage, you need to answer these 40 questions. The passages are basically taken from books, journals, newspapers, magazines, or etc. And in this section, you will get only 60 minutes to write down your answer. So here, you make sure one thing, you write down your answers directly in the answer sheet, because you won't get any extra minutes in this module to transfer your answers in your answer sheet, unlike listening. So make sure you write your answers directly into your answer sheet in this module. Now let's move on to the writing. Writing module is also a little bit different for the both of the tests, academic and general. Here you will have 2 tasks, or you will get 2 pieces of writing. The first one is said task 1, and the second one is called task 2. Okay, in the general test, you will be presented with a situation and asked to write a letter requesting information or explaining the situation on task 1. On the task 2, you will be asked to write an essay in response to your point of view, argument or problem. You can write the essay in general test in a somewhat personal style, and in the task 1 the letter could be formal, semi-formal or informal. Okay, on the other hand, in the academic test you will be presented with a graph, chart, table, maps, and you will be asked to describe or summarize or explain the information in your own words. And in the tasks 2, in academic tests, you will be asked to write an essay in response to your point of view, argument or problem. So remember one thing, in the academic test, your answers to both of the tasks, task 1 and task 2, must be in a formal style, and you will be given 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2. So in total you will get 60 minutes for the whole writing module. So you can ask, or you can be confused about why you will get only 20 minutes for task 1 and you will get 40 minutes for task 2. Let me show you one thing. In the task 1, the word limits are only 150, and in the task 2, the word limits are 250. So for that reason, you have to spend more time on task 2 and less time on task 1. And one thing you must remember, that you can't write less than 150 in task 1, or you can't write less than 250 words in task 2. But there is no barrier of the highest limitation. You can write more than 150 in task 1, you can write more than 250 in the task 2. So this is the whole writing module. Okay, now lastly, speaking. Speaking module is a basically one-to-one interaction between the examiner and the candidate. In this module, every test is recorded. There are 3 parts in this speaking test that are called part 1, part 2 and part 3. Okay. In part 1, the examiner will ask you some general questions or some basic questions about yourself and a range of familiar topics such as home, family, hometown, neighborhood, studies, work, hobbies and interest, etc. The part 1 lasts between 4 to 5 minutes only. So it is called the introduction or interview part. Okay, interview part. Now the part 2. Part 2 is called a cue card part. In this part or part 2, you will get a card which asks you to talk about a particular topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare in the part 2 and 2 minutes to deliver or 2 minutes to speak about the topic. The examiner will then ask you some 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. And lastly, the part 3, it is called the discussion part. Okay, discussion part. In this part, the examiner will ask further questions about the topic in part 2. So this will give you the opportunity to discuss about the topic or discuss more abstract ideas and issues. Again, this part of the test lasts between 4 to 5 minutes only. So This is the speaking module, and the whole speaking module will last for 11 to 14 minutes. So this is the whole IELTS format. Okay, but one last thing you need to know is the whole IELTS takes 2 hours and 45 minutes. The listening, reading and writing modules are taken in just one sitting at a stretch. You won't get any break in between these 3 modules. You have to go to your registered center and give these 3 modules in one day. The speaking module may be taken either on the same day or 7 days before or after the other modules. This depends on the schedule you'll get from IDP or British Council, depending upon whoever you are registered with. So lastly, all the very best to you guys who are going to prepare for IELTS. And one thing to know about some exciting and interesting tips and tricks about IELTS or about this test, make sure you subscribe to our channel and watch our next videos on IELTS. So happy learning, goodbye.